Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to another episode of Burning Crowns. Where we're doing something special. It's time for another trait vote. So excited to do that. Um, yeah. So trait votes are an important part of Burning Wheel. It's kind of a time for us to get together, reassess our characters, and since we're getting ready to be moving on from the capital of Brevoy and going back to creating a new town, we thought it'd be pretty prudent. And things have changed in the last few episodes that trait vote was warranted. So that's what we're gonna be doing today.
Hell yeah.
Cool. So let me hop us over to the game screen, and let's get started. No intros. Let's just get to business.
No intro.
Is everyone doing okay? How about that?
Good.
Just fine. For some reason, sneezing a lot today, so...
Yeah. It's okay. You're allergic to your internet.
You know,
Yes.
Eric, it saddens me that we're not doing intros today because I had an introduction prepared.
Oh, what is it?
Well, let me tell you something, my friends. You may or may not know this, but there are two subjects I really like talking about, me and also me. But I happen to know that you are not me, so you might not enjoy talking about me. But there is something we all enjoy talking about. Eric's hair. And my understanding is that soon you might be able to see a picture of Eric's hair on the Geek and Sundry articles list.
Soon.
My understanding is
Yeah.
that he's writing an article and a picture of his face might be attached to it. So you will be able to go to Geek and Sundry and look at his hair
Maybe.
with attached
One day.
face.
Yeah, one day.
All right, I got
day.
my introduction out of the way.
Well, thank
I
you.
would read that article just for the face.
Just for-
Soon. TM.
Just for the face. Yeah. Okay. So, let's get ready to do our trade votes.
Yep.
So,
So,
does everybody have their candles and their robes and ritual daggers?
Hell yeah.
I don't have any of
Okay,
those
cool.
things.
So,
I'm not wearing them.
well,
Got it.
all right. Let's start nominating you for unprepared. So, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make a new sheet in Roll20,
All right,
so we can all kind of like follow along and start listing out our traits and everything.
let's do it.
Yep.
So, what's going to happen is we're going to take turns looking at our character sheets. We're going to write down our traits, and then we're going to go around and start suggesting traits to be added to one another. That's kind of how this is going to work. It's going to be a lot of fun. As well, if you guys have been hanging out in chat and you want to suggest a good trait or something you want to think, I think that would be pretty cool too. All right. So,
Should we
So-
also do the thing where we like sort of summarize the arcs for the characters a little bit
yeah, for sure.
before we talk?
Actually, that's actually a really good point. Just as like a quick little like, this is what has happened since last trade vote for my character in the way that we know it, right? So, you know what? I want to start with the person who's probably changed the most, who's literally has his name changed. Sulius Aurelius, aka Demetrius Sertova. Can you go ahead and start for me? Give us a quick little recap of what's gone down in
Yeah.
Brevoy Town.
We've seen a lot of change from Demetrius, renamed Aurelius. The first thing we started at, I think the first episode we had after last trait vote was the party. And I think the big like arc that we saw for Demetrius and Brevoy was him coming back and being embroiled in the politics and realizing how like that was not him. That's like not where he's meant to be. And seeing, his miracles and his God push him away from that. And so then we saw him, defending his men and the trial that occurred there. We had the duel of wits with the queen, followed by a riot in the cells because Demetrius refused to leave with the queen and take advantage of his noble status. And then, that whole thing culminated in the rope snapping as he was hung, and the miracle of the rope turning into the chains, and him and the people who rioted in the cells all being saved and becoming the chained ones. Then after that, was sort of all about Demetrius becoming the prophet and getting declared that by the church and consolidating the church behind him and behind Count Swan. And so I think the next thing that happened was when us talking to the Hierophant, and that culminated in the speech that Demetrius gave to get the church to unite behind Swan and to officially declare him the prophet. And he had to do some miracles to impress everyone. He had to attain his third miracle, because we decided that the prophet had to do 3 miracles to prove who he was. And then he was able to do that, but I had a major compromise in the duel of wits that followed. And so Demetrius was forced to give up his name and forsake his noble title in order to officially become the prophet. And that is when he was reborn as Sulius Aurelius the prophet. And since then, we've seen a somewhat more, I think zealous might be the right word. He was always very fervent in his belief, but now he's got kind of that fiery-eyed zealotry a little bit more. He's been calling Count Swan the Emperor and his radiance, and he is, ready to be the bulwark to save the world. And so pretty much all of his preparations are towards that. He's moving away from the politics more and more towards, really just being the
less politicking and more proselytizing in a way. Maybe that's not the right. But less doing the politics, more about helping the people, right? It's like you're doing less top down and more bottom up stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's probably the best way of thinking about it, right?
Yeah, it basically, instead of, there was sort of some question when he forsook his title. And we actually saw a scene about it, I think, where Swan and everybody wasn't quite sure what that was going to mean, whether he was going to really embrace the fact that he wasn't a noble or whether it was just going to be sort of in name only for him. And I think more and more we've sort of seen that he really does take it to heart that he is a part of the common man now, and he's no longer a noble. He slips up every now and then, but we can see him moving more and more towards that.
Yeah. No, we saw that especially after it was a couple sessions ago when I kind of called you out on how you're you're only spending your time with the rich people. I think that was a big part of it, and we got to see the recaps here. So this is really this is good. So that was a really good recap. Thanks for that. So I wonder if I should actually. I'm not going to summarize that, but okay. So let's talk about your traits, right?
Yeah. So the obvious one to get rid of is your lordship, which is my trait denoting that I either mark of privilege or your lordship. I think your lordship is maybe more appropriate.
Yeah.
That's basically the Sotova name. It represents that I could be a lord. I have the noble pedigree to be a lord.
Yeah. But I think you should definitely keep mark of privilege in a way.
Yeah, I feel like
mark of privilege is biological anyway. Based on this description, it's that you look to be a fine breeding.
You have your teeth,
right?
You have yeah, right.
The way I think if part of Aurelius is becoming a prophet was going and wandering in the desert and becoming emaciated or whatever, then I would probably lobby to lose mark of privilege instead. But I think your lordship is the most appropriate.
Okay. Well, let's start listing out all of your traits, right? Because we have to put them all. We have to put them all on display, right?
Sure. So do you want me to list them, or do you want?
Yeah, and I'll write them down. I'll be the stenographer.
Cool. So I've got your lordship, predatory, ambitious, devout, obliging, mark of privilege, tonsured, vested, faithful, and incomprehensible diagnosis.
All right, I skipped one. I have devout, obliging, and tonsured.
Did you get vested?
No, that's the one I missed. So I have obliging, vested, tonsured, faithful, and what was the last one?
incomprehensible diagnosis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You haven't used that one in a while, but I remember when you did use it.
I've used it a couple times.
Didn't he try to? He tried to weasel it on you when you're with your gold sickness.
I used it on I used it in a couple duel of wits. I used it in the first duel of wits with Swan, and I used it in the duel of wits with the Queen when I just straight up insulted her.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
So
Definitely not the only one to do that.
So I'm gonna put Demetrius / Sulius. It's cool. So let's do the second part here for your traits, and now we actually do the voting part of this, right, guys? Or do we do a recap for everybody first?
I think we should list everyone's stuff and then go around. But
Okay.
I don't know what the rest of people think.
I would be fine with it either way, right? We just like go through characters, list traits, and then we'll vote them off. It's okay.
I think in terms of what makes better television would be us to just continue with Demetrius and just do each person individually.
Sorry,
Frankly, so everyone can. So it's easier to keep everything in everyone's heads.
We should rock that.
All right. So we have a list of Demetrius's traits. Now we get to go around and we get to suggest a trait that you would either get removed, right?
Yeah.
And then we
start by voting traits off, and
Yes.
once we're done with voting traits off, we start the vote.
we start onboarding traits. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So you were out of the gate here already, Sam. You wanted to vote to remove your lordship, right?
Correct.
So I'm gonna make a mark there.
So how does this work? It's you can lose anywhere between 0 and 3, or is it?
Everyone nominates one trait for you to get rid of. And then,
Okay, got it. Yeah, cool. All right.
and oh god, how does it go again? It's when it's getting rid of traits. It's
I'm gonna find the page for this. Just
I don't remember. It's been a while.
It's been a while since I've done.
It's been a hot
this.
minute since we've done this. Yeah. Let me just stop. Well, 20.
Trait
All right.
vote.
There.
59.
I will mark these for removal. So we have your lordship, and then I think we. I'm gonna nominate removing the removal of predatory. I don't think that fits your character.
Oh, hold on. So just to make sure, it looks like for voting off, it says only the GM or owning player. So it's the GM or owning player may propose that a character lose a trait. If the GM proposes the loss of a trait, a unanimous result is required for the trait to be voted off. If the owning player suggested it, a simple majority vote. So the nominating is for adding traits.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, I think that still stands. I think I'm gonna nominate removing predatory.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but did that have to be a unanimous vote, or is that just the GM?
So
Yeah.
where the one that Sam has nominated only needs a majority. The one that Eric has voted needs unanimous.
Yeah, correct. So let's go ahead and vote for removal now. On listing of traits, I'm gonna actually denote the steps of the process here some more so people can follow along. Listing. So step 2 is the listing of the traits. Step 3 is removal of trait. Removal vote. Removal of trait vote. Step 4 is
Nominate new traits.
nominate. Yeah. Nominate new traits. Voting. Okay. So, let's go ahead and think about your lordship and whether or not you want to remove it. So you need a majority, so you need 3 out of 4 of us. How are we going to all vote together? How did we do this last time? Is it
We just talked.
we just talked about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've already kind of made my case
Yeah.
for this
I'm with you on it.
It makes sense in the fiction, right? Like some people might still recognize him as a lord out of courtesy, but the fact of the matter is, like, the trait grants him privilege that he, societally speaking, does no longer have.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm actually going to say no, and I'm aware it doesn't matter, but both I and Swan recognize that you still think like a nobleman. You still expect things of being noble.
I think that's definitely true. Yeah.
Well, I think I hear you on that, and I think that's part of what Mark of Privilege keeps.
I mean, Mark of Privilege is literally like you're healthy or whatever.
Mark of Privilege
I think your lordship, he has privilege, like lordship privilege, and I think your lordship encompasses that.
Maybe, yeah. Okay.
He still plays off of it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I can see that. I can see where you're coming from that. And what about predatory?
I just straight up no on that. He's absolutely predatory.
A
man that uses ambition wise this often.
See, I mean, he has ambitious already for that, though. Is my
He's
thought
got
of it.
plans. He's got plans.
So I don't feel like predatory is the right word.
Yeah,
for
you're exactly.
And therefore, I
You're
figure
not-
like I
yeah.
would vote for getting it off too.
So this is where I'm making. The
I mean, you can
distinction.
evolve traits rather
Yeah.
than remove them.
Yes.
And this may be what happens here, because this is where I'm coming from. To me, when I hear the term predatory as a trait, you are not okay. So like, this is the juxtaposition between predatory and ambitious for me, and why you're definitely ambitious, but maybe not so predatory. For me, predatory carries a connotation of it's not enough to build you up; you're tearing other people down. Like predatory, you're going after other people, not just yourself, in a way that's very, very aggressive. And that I don't see that so much as you, right? Like
predatory is hunting, killing, and eating,
right?
Like metaphysically speaking, or whatever, like lifted up from however base or however high a concept you want. I don't feel like that's what you're doing. You are definitely about like getting forward, but you are not like consuming your way there. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think based on what you're saying,
that's where I'm coming from.
And to be honest, like to start, I was gonna vote no, but the more you're saying it, I feel like the queen acts in a very predatory manner. And like Aurelius acts in more of like it's like behind this. He's like the guy behind the scenes, you know.
You're
he's
too nice to be predatory.
But it's a facade of niceness.
What?
Right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. He actually isn't really that nice. He threatened to murder someone like 3 months ago. He was just like, "Stop talking to me, peasant."
Yeah.
I feel like
it's a total facade of niceness, right?
Yeah. He's super predatory, guys.
Wanting for other words, what I would call Demetrius is architect. Because Demetrius builds for himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat someone he doesn't eat someone and then like gains their power. He's like, no, I'm building stuff of my own. I'm ranking it higher and higher and higher until I stand above you.
I would say he's exploitative.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So hold on.
From the way he dealt with the crowd on the last big faith roll.
But the matter of hand is this is predatory, and we're voting on predatory. So,
based on how he acts,
I'm voting to remove it. Right.
Yeah, I'm voting to remove it, and we need unanimous. AP is not, so that's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so it stays.
He's got it in him. I can feel it.
Okay,
he's got
so
the wolf.
those are the only ones. There's the only ones here then.
So your lordship goes.
Okay, so your lordship's gone. Now we nominate new traits.
All right.
The way this works is that we all individually select new traits to vote on. Right.
Yep. We everyone nominates him for one. With the caveat that we could nominate him for more.
So I'd like to nominate Moonlighting.
I would like to nominate Zealot.
Okay.
Zealot. Or Zealous, I guess would be the actual...
No, it's literally a trait called Zealot.
Is it?
The trait
okay.
Zealot exists.
The formal.
What was the one that you wanted, Eric?
No, I was making a joke.
I have one, but I think it's going to be a little controversial, so we can maybe go last with me.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you should say it first, buddy. If you're gonna front end with that.
I would like to create a call-on trait for faith. I want to base it off the call-on trait driven, which essentially, so if you look at the call-on trait driven, you decide at the beginning of the game or when the character gets driven what skill it is related to, and they must have a belief. So when they're fighting for that belief, they're able to use driven as a call-on. So I would suggest basically a faith call-on for when I am fighting for my faith idiom would be my suggestion.
Something about whenever you're defending the strong walls of...
Yeah, and the reason why I think this is relevant is like we've seen a lot of times where Aurelius has failed in his faith rolls, but every single time when the chips have been down, when it's like do or die, he needs to succeed on this roll or he is screwed. So I'm talking in the I'm like in the church when he needed his last miracle to like prove that he was the prophet, when he's going to be hanged, when Count Swan needed to make that huge speech, in the moments where the chips are down and he really needs the miracle, he gets the miracle. And so I think it's sort of makes sense in the fiction.
And it's based on driven.
Yeah, so if you, let me find
make a call-on trait for your faith called prophet.
So I was thinking like prophet or like something to do with like the chains, like bound to like faith or something like that.
I'm thinking about something like unwavering or like something like that.
That's good.
But I'm not sure what exactly the word is.
I don't think I would use the word unwavering because I feel like Demetrius, though he stalwartly marches forward, he changes the direction. He changes slant every so often where he's like, we're still going to go forward, guys, but we're going to go like this way now because I'm meeting too much resistance going directly forward.
Yeah. I think maybe like basically what the reason why I'm thinking is like, I think this trait maybe could like represent, because we've talked about how like the chain is like sort of embedded into his flesh. This trait could sort of encompass that aspect as well.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like a physical thing that should be like accounted for in the traits we give you.
Yeah, so what do we call that?
Yeah.
Like thrall to the Lord.
True believer?
Like
Marked by Abadar.
Marked by Abadar is good.
Yeah, actually.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
I'm going with calling it marked by Abadar for now.
And if you want to look at driven, it's on 322. Just
okay. Can I nominate the evolution of predatory to something else? Is that something I can do? Cool. I want to do the what were we saying? It was
exploitative.
Exploited. Yeah. Yeah. AP, anything?
Oh, I nominated Zealot.
Oh, that's right. Then who are we missing?
Mason.
Oh, that's right. Sam's was marked by Abadar.
You guys could still give me Aura of Holiness.
Fucking get out
Getting
of
there.
Predatory to exploitive. And one more.
Maybe stop failing faith tests.
This will help with that if I get a call on.
I mean, let me tell you about this gold lung I've got.
Look, if you guys want to be safe from disastrous effects of miracles, give me the power to re-roll my fails.
I mean, if we want to be safe from your disastrous failed rolls, we need to get you to stop rolling.
Well, that's not going to happen. Should we start like advocating for one and give Daniel some time to think?
I want to give you a trait. I want to give you a trait that we call prophet, and it's essentially like, fictionally speaking, it's a replacement for your lordship, where it presupposes that people address you and treat you in a specific manner based on their relationship with your church.
Yeah, I mean, there's already just like a basis for that would be vested, is what gives me my 2-die affiliation to the church. So it's like tonsured gives you 1 die, and then vested is the step up that gives you 2. I could see profit being the 3rd step up.
Yeah,
from that.
because you are absolutely like, this would be a significant thing for what is absolutely a national organization. So I would argue that is like, that is a thing we should acknowledge.
I'm wondering if it would be a reputation or an affiliation, though. What do you think?
I think it should give you a 1-die affiliation with the church, because people outside might know you as a prophet, but you might also have situations where like, a prophet of Abadar, I don't care about Abadar. I worship Dasray, thank you very much. Whereas like internally in your church, the fact that you are the prophet would be like
a far bigger deal. Yeah. Oh, it's true. Sith Master mentions you can nominate reputations on their own.
Yeah, reputations is once we're done with traits.
Yeah,
that's how we got our reputations. That me and Swan have reputations for the charter.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's go ahead.
So, should we vote on the traits we've nominated?
Mm-hmm. And these have to be unanimous, right?
Oh, God.
Let's double check.
I believe so.
Page 59. Characters can be awarded, but this shouldn't be a punishment, but an honest outward reflection of what's happening at the table.
The owning player doesn't vote for his own traits. Unanimous decisions grant a trait.
Cool. I skipped that whole section.
All right. So let's vote on Zealot.
All right, let's do it. I agree. I think he is behaving zealously. I think agree. A lot of what he does is driven by his faith. And I think we can see that in the way he writes his beliefs.
Yeah.
I know I don't get to vote, but just to like advocate for this one, I like mentioned before, I think like more and more he's kind of losing himself in the faith, which I think is something about Zealot, right? Like something that like marks a Zealot to me is like sort of, it's not like a reasoned faith necessarily. And that's kind of a weird way to put it, but I don't know, there's sort of more like fire and madness in Aurelius more and more, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you on that, and I think that's why Zealot is a really good one. Yeah, I definitely agree with that's the vibe I've been getting, so I'm voting for it. AP?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I nominated it.
So
you can still vote no if you wanted to.
You could veto your own bill.
I get the sense that this is a yes, you are now a Zealot.
Yes.
I believe that's a character trait, is it not?
It is a dice trait. It gives it gives you a 4th belief.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Your 4th belief must be related to setting new doctrine for your cult or sect.
Oh, this is perfect.
That's perfect.
I know.
I love that. That's a great pick.
Cool.
I know it was good because I picked it.
All right.
Thanks, AP.
Let's talk about Marked by Abadar.
I vote yes. I think like his character literally has a mark of Abadar on his person.
You have the physically a golden chain embedded in your neck.
Yes. And I'm okay with it being a faith call on. I mean, one part of this that a part of me want this to not be a faith call on, just because I want it to be hard for you. I want to see your teeth get pulled, but I am very okay with it being a faith call on.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm voting for it too.
I think so. Just to talk about the aspect of a faith call on, because that is definitely really strong. I'm perfectly happy and honestly would encourage Eric to be like pretty harsh about this.
Yeah.
And like you can even be like, I would even go so far as to say like it doesn't even necessarily need to be like Aurelius thinking that he's advocating for his faith belief, but if Eric as the voice of Abadar wants to say like, yeah, you might think that this is like helping you, but like we at the table can all see that this is like clearly not going to help.
Yeah.
Like defend against the apocalypse.
So
I will be. Yeah, I mean, I'll be a pretty good. What do you want to call
Arbiter.
it? Arbiter. Yeah.
So I want to mention a thing, and this is superfluous really, because I did mention it when we had the last trade vote, where we also talked about the strength of what we voted onto Package's character, Onan. And for you guys watching this, thinking they talk about like this, like we're voting something really strong onto him. What does this mean? Why is it strong? It's important to note that in Burning Wheel, it doesn't really matter that what we are voting onto people might be strong or weak, because the game doesn't give a flying fuck. Right? If someone in the game drinks the potion of Dragon's Breath, that permanently grants them the ability to breathe fire and deal like white shade damage, we don't care. We just give the trait because this is true in the fiction. This is now true of your character. There is no curve we need to respect in this game. So
yes,
if someone grows wings and horns, that's just a thing that happens.
Exactly.
True. Good point.
I'm for it.
Yeah, predatory, exploitative. I'm in.
Yep.
And profit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so you have four new traits.
That's but
made out pretty well on that one.
Yeah.
Sure. Now here's actually a question. Do you actually you don't lose vested and tonsured? Because like I feel like those are like tiered things. They just build on each other, right?
That's how it works. So it's like I'm pretty sure I can double check, but I'm pretty sure tonsured is like 1D affiliation. Then vested gives you another D that stacks on top of that, and so that's stacked on top.
Yeah. So profit's just like one we made that stacks on top of that. Cool. Then we nominate reputations.
Yeah, we can do that now.
So just so you know, you already gave me a reputation as the prophet. I already have a 3D reputation there.
I want you to have a 1 die reputation. I want it to be specifically amongst nobles. I want it to be dead man.
Dead man?
Yeah, you relinquished your nobility to become what you are. And of all the people in the realm who would give a fuck about this is nobles. Nobles would be like, oh, that's the guy who stopped being one of us to become the prophet.
Yeah. But I wasn't sure what to call them. That I was thinking something along those exact same lines.
I would also suggest that we mark this as an infamous reputation.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
It as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So infamous reputations, for those who don't know this, again, infamous reputations are not necessarily only bad. They give you extra dice to throw when you leverage your reputation, but they also increase your obstacle because it's not a reputation for something exclusively good. You have more dice to throw at a higher ob.
I'd like to nominate a 2-die reputation for member of the Swan Court.
I have too many reputations. They won't all fit.
Make more.
I'd like to. I don't want to nominate a reputation, but I'd like to nominate getting rid of an affiliation with House Sertova.
That seems reasonable.
I have a 3D affiliation with House Sertova that I bought, plus Mark of Privilege helped me, I think, or your lordship maybe. So I would vote to just get rid of that entire.
Seems reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
No, that sounds pretty good to me.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm obviously voting for the one I suggested.
The dead man, dead man sounds awesome. That sounds really good. 2-die reputation for Swan Court. Why is it 2-die instead of 1?
I don't.
The reach of the reputation.
Can I make a suggestion? I would suggest that this replace OG charter holder, and essentially be like it's been like upgraded from people knowing us as like the ragtag group that like secured the charter, and now it's like, oh, it's Swan's Court.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I don't actually mind. I think that could work
because that's what this is basically also kind of growing into what's the next step and phase of the game is, anyways. So that would make sense. Like,
I was kind of trying to tie that in for sure.
The Court of Swans is like, that's the next thing, right?
Court of Swans
Nah,
is like a.
well, we call it Swan Court, but I feel like that gives a really weird impression of the game.
This is the far future of Court of Swords, where the Court of Swords and Court of Wands have come together into a single court.
The Court of Swans.
Swans.
No, none of that. No. I do have a tarot card within reach.
No, do we are we cool with that augmentation?
Yeah, I
I
feel
like all of those.
Yeah.
if I want to say,
Okay.
is it so members of a court? What's the connotation here? Like, what is he reputed of being? Because there is probably there will probably be a shoe polish boy at some point who is a member of Swan's court, like as it grows and it has people in it.
Well, it's because you're no longer like a charter holder for exploration of the stolen lands. Now you guys are going to be kingdom builders of the stolen lands.
Oh, right. I get it. Yeah, I can take that.
So this is why it's your court, because it's like your new kingdom.
And it makes sense why that is significant. So yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
And I'm all for moving.
It's an ambitious thing to say, because already you've been developing. I mean, it's like we're calling this something bigger than what it actually is kind of right now. Like you have been spending so much time building this court already. Like you spent so many sessions, right, AP, on like building this court, and now it's going to be like formally in a larger place. You know, it's going to be you're going to have an actual kingdom.
And also, like, even though we're small, like we've already, like, the way we've been acting is already like we have reach bigger than our size, right? It's like, like we're small, but we have a count, the Prophet of Abadar, and a wizard.
Listen, you think we're tier 0, but we're really tier 4, so get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, like, he's been throwing money around, so like that would have caught people's attention. Like the bards, we had the bard
all of the money
last session. So we've got people
like see the reputation segue, right? We return as the triumphant heroes to the capital city. There's a party thrown in our honor at the capital, and then that thing has then like transformed as a homunculus into something different, but still very much in the public eye.
Homunculus? Really? That's what we're fucking going with? The tiny flying man made out of clay. Okay, got it.
In your image, shaped in its owner's image.
Yeah,
of course.
What else would you call the figurehead of this if not a homunculus?
Eventually,
it'd be a dire swan with 2 heads that breathes fire,
made of clay,
and
it'd be made of gold. Obviously, come on, keep up.
Made of clay, painted gold.
Are we good with the removal of 3 dice of House Tova as the ending part? Awesome.
Excellent.
Swan's not, but I am.
Your character is now up to date, Demetrius.
GG.
Zulius. You are.
Hold on. Yeah, before we go any further, I need to determine something once and for all. Is it Swan with 2 N's or with 1 N?
It's 2 N.
2 N.
Okay.
Why?
It's literally on the character sheet, and every time I've typed it anywhere,
it was Swan. So it was 1 N somewhere else, because I remember this.
Always been 2 N's.
It's 2 N's on the overlay. It's 2 N's
ever
written
and ever.
Here. I'm sure I probably wrote it with 1
We're like,
N
what,
somewhere.
20 sessions in? Literally like 6 fucking months. How do you not know this?
I'm pretty sure it was Swan with 1 N on the overlay.
My God, are you gonna stop him in the middle of dinner and be like, is it 2 N's or 1 N?
I don't know. I don't read. It's
right.
reading.
Do you have read?
Count Swan
I feel
is
like
next.
there's probably nameplates, at fancy dinners.
I have both read and write.
I feel like from now on, I'm just going to have Swan's nameplate always have a really big, fancy second N just for Demetrius. John Hancock the shit out of that.
All
right. So I've just done it.
Yeah.
It's been a random roll to see who goes next, and AP, you won. So.
All right. Well, I mean, that's not exactly winning, but I think I have some recapping to do to start with, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
should we give you a sick beat?
I don't think I need a sick beat.
Right.
I don't have any poetry to drop. Let's see here. Well, putting on these glasses might not have been a good plan because now I'm having trouble reading the screen. Since we've last seen Swan at a trade boat, he stopped drinking and started unveiling big plans. He's gathered allies and lost them, including the Queen and Baron Krishenko. He's impressed the people around town, from fancy balls to public displays of faith in support of the prophet. Attended dinner parties and meetings with higher-ranking noblemen in order to gain support, supplies, and corrupt them into outlandish beliefs like gender equality and responsibility to the people. He's also bought an impressive army. Been having bad dreams and occasionally saying cryptic things and getting angry. And he had to organize a new noble court and keep the current one in line, heading towards the goal and in good clothing and standing before they get lost along the way and throw up on the king or something.
All right.
I mean, that's what I remember just real
I
quick.
feel like
about
Ron
what Swan's
Howard
been doing.
narrated that. All right.
All right, what traits do you have?
Let's see. I've got
Fear.
fear.
Hold on, one second. Let me start writing these down.
All right, should I read them all really quick? Like,
Yep, just machine gun them out.
Feared, imperious, free, self-satisfied, your eminence, pompous, rapier wit, affinity for business, mark of privilege, noblesse oblige, pennywise.
Boy, I skipped some.
It's a good thing that you can open my
feared,
character sheet.
imperious, free, self-satisfied, rapier wit, pompous, pennywise, noblesse oblige.
I feel like you definitely missed some.
I missed
I'll
like
go
3.
back down the list.
I missed 3 around self-satisfied.
Yep. Feared, imperious, free, self-satisfied, your eminence, pompous, rapier wit, affinity for business, mark of privilege, noblesse oblige, and pennywise.
Got it. Cool. AP, any of them you feel like you need to remove?
Nope. No, I feel like I've been playing towards them all pretty good.
That face.
I don't know. I see some differing opinions from the crowd here.
I don't see.
Actually,
You know,
yeah.
so these are all good, and I feel like let's talk about affinity for business, right? You obviously have that, but here's something that I'm not sure, and this is a question about Burning Wheel in general that I'm not sure if this is the right answer, like if we're doing it right or not. How often should you as a player be saying, like, by the way, I'm trying to direct you to saying that I'm playing this trait right now, right?
I mean, I bought a fucking
Do we not?
bank.
Do you?
I think it's pretty up to like the players playing the game and the GM.
Yeah, like how important that direct connection is in any given moment. I feel
The
like
conversation can extend indefinitely if you're always like, and then I'm playing to this thing and this thing
Yeah.
and the thing I mentioned 2 sessions ago.
Yeah, you have mark of privilege, right, AP?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I can't nominate. I don't see any of them to be nominated to be removed.
Okay.
Say anything.
That's fair then.
All right, that's solid.
I don't know. Maybe not self-satisfied. Maybe needs to go.
Really? All right.
Hold on, because you're never
All right, yeah,
you're
that's
never
fine.
going to be satisfied. Is what I think. Is what it is. You'll
So-
never be
so-
satisfied.
Satisfied and self-satisfied are two different things.
Yeah, I think Swan is extremely self-satisfied. He is the
Yeah. No, you're very
most
happy by yourself. Yeah. All right.
I would.
That's fair. In that interpretation, and as in, and when I say that, I mean the actual interpretation, and not my bullshit GM interpretation.
So I can't nominate anything, but I want to mention that I think someone, Eric, should nominate Feared.
I literally just played to Feared in the last session at the very beginning.
And he played Feared. He played Feared several times. I remember.
All right, I don't.
Everyone keeps trying to take my Feared. Get away!
Because no one is treating you like you're Feared.
I have huge armies. What do you want from me?
That's true. Nobody.
Literally not a single soul.
Well, that's because AP has spent a lot of time dealing with people bigger than him, and no one smaller than him.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, so I can't nominate. I just want to say I don't hold that to be true of your.
I think it does for now, but that's fair. So let's look at.
I think that we should have AP should consider maybe showing Feared more in a situation where he has more people under him that he can
boss
show
around
how
and such.
fearful
I
they are.
literally
Which
was
I think
ready
we will
to start
see.
a war with the Mannings, and everyone's like, "You probably shouldn't start a war with the Mannings." And I was like, "Fine, whatever. I'm gonna throw a glass jug at a door."
Yeah, that's the scene I'm thinking of, which is why I wouldn't take away feared. But clearly, like Daniel has some thoughts, so like that's what I'm saying. Maybe you should.
Yeah. We will keep an eye on it for the next one. All right. For the next
Don't worry.
round.
Next
For the
time I have to
scene.
take someone hostage, I'll threaten to burn them alive in oil or something.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll do it. All right. So let's look at some new trait nominations, fellas.
No, I can't nominate anything for myself, right?
No, you can't.
Yes,
You
you
absolutely can.
Oh, I can. Oh,
You can't vote.
I didn't anticipate this part. All
I
right.
have a couple that I'd like to talk about. I don't know if I want to nominate all of them, but like a couple that I think are kind of interesting as options. One that I think would be kind of cool to maybe dig into is Dreamer, which would make those like dreams that we've been talking about, like the bad dream Swan's been having, like essentially prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I was looking at that seemed to make sense was Booming Voice, which I think is probably appropriate. And there was one other that I saw that made sense.
Should we start thinking about Chosen One?
Yeah, I think so. I think it has been
talk about it.
recognized in the fiction, I think, to an extent that is meaningful.
We should definitely talk about it.
All right. I'm putting forward Chosen One. All right.
I want to, yeah, definitely.
Uh,
I even want to say it should maybe, based on what we saw last session, Chosen One, when we consider it, should be more than a character trait.
It's a die trait in the book.
Yeah, but I mean, so I don't think the die trait in the book is what we're nominating AP for, though they share a name.
I mean, that's Eric's call.
Yeah, but that's my comment there. But it's Eric's call because Eric's the one doing the nomination.
just gonna go ahead and nominate a couple: charismatic and scheming.
Charismatic is what's scheming?
Scheming is schemingly. I actually don't remember. All right.
It's probably just a character trait.
No, it's definitely like a die trait.
Well, charismatic makes sense.
Yeah.
There's something magnetic or enigmatic about this character that draws people to him. People enjoy his company. This is a call on for persuasion and oratory. Pick one. So yeah, I would say charismatic.
Scheming is. Oh my gosh, this is so bad.
Why?
You would not believe how many. No, I'm sorry. I'm going through the list of S traits. There's like 5 pages. Scheming characters are always plotting and planning. It doesn't have to be for their benefit or gain. Sometimes they just plot and plan to see their own cleverness at work. Combined with murderous or ambitious, this can be a very problematic trait. Scheming allows the player to add +1 die to his body of argument and dual wits.
I think you're absolutely scheming.
Yeah, I think that like little twist of sometimes they just plot and plan to see their cleverness at work is like Count Swan all over.
That's the definition of Swan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like both scheming and charismatic. So I would like to throw Dreamer up there just because I think it's like kind of interesting to get Swan into more of the supernatural aspect that the other 2 characters have going on.
Dreamer.
And then the other one I was thinking of was Believer. Because it definitely seems like Swan has thrown himself more into the whole.
Can I suggest we change Chosen One to Chosen One of Abadar specifically? That would take it away from the dice part of it.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's read Chosen One real quick, right?
Gray shades.
If the character, he may purchase this trait to make Faith shade gray. Yeah.
I think, and I realize that we'll talk about this when we vote on it. I feel like just based on what you did in the fiction last time, we should make a text for whatever Swan is that denotes like an like extra relationship with the aspect of Abadar. Right? It's like
every little thing he does is magic.
Yeah, like sometimes Abadar will give you a hard choice, and if you
No, that's terrible. Don't put that in the box text.
if you impress him, then something, right? Like, because that's what Eric did last time. He was like, the child is still sick, but you could totally do something about
Yeah, but
that.
I didn't get anything out of it except gold dust in my lungs.
Well, you got fate, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you would get, right? Like, there's such a trait would be like, Abadar is giving you a hard choice here, and you could be like, yeah, I want to do something selfless and get fate for it.
We could maybe make like chosen one of Abadar more similar to like the believer trait, where it's like something like if a miracle like if like Abadar something to do with like a failed faith roll and like being able to take like a devil's bargain instead of the faith roll failing or something. That could be kind of cool. I don't know.
I guess the question is there anything else to suggest?
Yeah, I want to nominate you for. I guess what my suggestion would be evolving free into rebel.
I'd like to throw believer up there as well to talk about.
How many can we suggest?
Strictly speaking, one each, unless there are some we just hold to be incredibly true that we absolutely have to mention.
Oh, then we can take off believer then, because I suggested dreamer already. Not bad.
Okay. Any kind of character traits?
Yeah, rebel.
I want to suggest. I think this one just makes sense. Mind for small details.
I can see that.
Trait.
Yeah, cool.
You're very or meticulous is another way of maybe putting it.
I think both of those are actual traits. So let's see what they say.
I mean, my inner Mason has to.
Oh wow! Hold on. Meticulous is a 2.1. Hold on. Meticulous character is neat and organized to the point of obsessiveness. All non-physical martial arts skills take the maximum time required. The trait may be used as a call-on for academic, craftsman, artisan, or military skill. Oh, it's for dwarven. For dwarven characters, the skill must be related to the Greek's idiom. Oh, they're literally right next to each other. I'm not sure if meticulous is right, but mind for small details.
Swan is too flim-flammy. Like, he improvises a lot of the time. Like,
I like mind for small details though, because like he is always like, I do like giving him something for like his like, he always is like in his office like, planning and
flair.
Yeah,
and,
what I mean? Yeah,
I mean, I'd almost say it's flair for the dramatic would be the name of the trait, but
flair for the dramatic is also a trait already.
Is it?
It's not.
I'm almost positive.
Because if that's true, yeah, that would actually be pretty good.
I mean, it's absolutely true of the character, though. So even if it's not in the book, it should now be a character trait.
There's dramatic. There's not flair for the dramatic, but there's dramatic.
There's flamboyant.
I don't know about flamboyant.
I think
whatever happens to the character, it's very entertaining and overwrought when he tells you about it later.
What is the textbook definition?
Oh,
of
dramatic.
flamboyant?
Dramatic means that you are almost like you're an embellisher.
Yeah.
You're like, you will not believe the line at the grocery store. Oh my god, like, okay, whatever.
Actually, Eric, it's more like, let me tell you about this fish I caught down at the lake. It was this big. I battled it for 4 hours. The bulging of my sinews as I pulled it from the lake.
Flamboyant definition: florid, ornate, strikingly bold. I could see that for Swan.
Strikingly bold is definitely what I would describe.
I don't know.
I think you should gun for graceful. If I were you next time, but not. I don't think you have that yet. How about handsome? Do you have handsome yet? That should be obvious.
Handsome.
Should be handsome. Yo, if you caught the queen's eye, you're handsome. All right.
Yeah.
Do you think the queen's relationship and you, has that done anything to your traits? Do you think you
I
are...
think that should be a reputation.
I wanted to suggest something,
I mean,
but
that's over now, though. before
I
we get
know,
too
but
deep
like,
into
do you think
but
that has left you like
Former consort of the queen.
like scorned, or like something like
I
you're
don't
dealing
think I
with
was scorned.
no,
I
you're
mean,
not. No, I wouldn't say scorned,
we left
but
on good terms ish. I mean,
Yeah,
who knows
but-
how long that'll last?
but
You know
it's
what?
more like you actually had feelings for her, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and now it's like, do you feel sad about this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
he
Like,
does.
Heartbroken.
I know, like, like heartbroken. That's what I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know
get
about
to.
heartbroken. It's probably not that bad, but
here, I have a suggestion here. So I kept to one suggestion because I wanted to suggest Rebel, but since everyone has laid more than one suggestion out by now, I wanted to suggest earlier Guarded Heart.
Yeah, because you've been hurt before. You're careful about who you trust, right?
yes.
Yeah, guarded heart. Okay.
So did we ever decide, is Chosen One of Abadar just going to be a character trait?
Yeah, it's a character trait.
One that we can develop as the game progresses.
Precisely.
And just because I said them, I didn't see them listed. Charismatic and scheming. Oh, scheming made it on there. Okay.
Scheming, yeah.
All right, there
Sorry.
it is.
Yeah, because I had the text box open while I was doing that shit. And you know how Roll20 doesn't want to show you the things that are getting edited in real time. So,
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so
Should we
that's a
start at the
lot. Let's start at the top.
I mean,
Chosen One of Abadar.
This is a
Yeah.
guaranteed yes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Should that maybe be like something that gives him a reputation, or should that be separate?
I
Like,
think
I
it's
think
separate.
we wrote on the reputation separately. I think this is a
Correct.
character
That's
trait
fine.
that can develop into something more with persona.
That's exact. This is like exactly. This is the foundation that the house is going to get built on.
You know what
Right.
it maybe should be, though? It maybe should be a small affiliation with the church.
It could.
Yeah,
definitely
no,
be.
you're definitely getting an affiliation with the church now that you signed that deal, homies. Right? Like you are partners with the church, if anything. Right?
So
Religious or
maybe-
not, you are a business.
Maybe Chosen One of Abadar should be a 1D church affiliation.
Well,
that
let's
would
deal with
stack.
let's do affiliation and reputation stuff after trading. But yeah,
Okay.
this is definitely something that to be considered.
Hmm.
Scheming, yes,
Um,
I think that's hilarious, and that's perfect. Okay, you're in scheming. Dreamer.
So I don't think we've seen this one a lot, but I'd like to see more of it, and it's been like a little bit involved. AP has brought it up, so I'm gonna say yes, but I understand if somebody else says no.
I want to say yes, if only for the reason that I want to see it. Right? I want the Chosen One of Abadar being a thing to be paired with like visions of sadness to come.
I want this too because I know Dreamer, if Mason doesn't have it already, is getting it, and basically, and I really want to have the comparisons of these visions and stuff as a
So
thing to play with.
to understand, this would no longer be me being like, yeah, I had these dreams. Eric will tell me prophetic things of the future.
You can do both, right?
Yeah, you can do both.
So, insofar as Eric allows it, which is always the case, right? We can do director stand stuff where we just say something is true of what our characters do and experience, and then Eric can be like,
Mhm.
actually, I don't agree with that, or he can let it fly. You've
Precisely.
always been able to do that. Now Eric just has a trait he can use to be like, you know what happened tonight? Something horrible happened tonight.
The same thing that happens every night, Pinky.
Horrible prophetic dreams.
Every night you wake up in a cold sweat dreaming of the Warner Brothers logo.
Every night, Mason wakes up remembering Swan's warning. There will be a price to pay for this path. And then she goes right back to sleep, forgetting about it.
Mine for okay, so continuing on, mine for small details.
I disagree. Not that I disagree explicitly, but I don't think this is a trait for his character. I don't see Swan and immediately think, yes, this encapsulates him.
I know it doesn't matter, but I'm just gonna symbolically vote yes.
Okay. Free into rebel.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Look at
do you
Sam. Hmm.
So I don't like. I could maybe see like other people seeing him as more of a rebel, but I don't think that Swan sees himself as a rebel.
I don't think so.
I don't think most rebels do.
No, that's the thing, right? This trait is not his self-image.
I don't know. From what my watching of Star Wars, all of the rebels are pretty sure they're rebels.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like in the American Revolution, like they knew that they were like rebelling. You know what I mean?
My argument for you, like to try and like try to tell you about how my view is on this. This is not a suggestion. Like, I'm not playing masks. I don't want to be like, this is now how you see yourself. Behold, I want to be like, that is what I think is true of his character. Swan is a rebel. He does things that are like unorthodox, that are against expected norm, and he does so flagrantly because he believes it to be right and screw the consequences.
I buy that.
Yeah,
that works for me.
So what makes so here's another way of thinking about rebel exactly is when you have an opinion of something like that, you're very confident about it, and that is very like, you just go with that, and you're willing to change the world to make that true if it's not.
Can I make a different suggestion?
Right.
Instead of rebel, revolutionary.
Visionary? Yeah.
I definitely see him. He wants to upset the status quo. Yeah, but I think like I like revolutionary or like visionary a little better than rebel.
Yeah. I was initially thinking visionary, but I don't think that like visionary has a enlightened context to it that I don't think is true of his character. I think the way he goes about evoking his very sweeping and very well-meaning change is sometimes rather dim in a very, very charming way.
Maybe that's
hatefulness. It's hateful words.
Maybe that's the difference between revolutionary and the visionary, though, right? Is like he's the guy with the big grand ideas. He's the guy who takes those ideas and is just going to shove.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the next part of the game when people are going to be offering you guys sweet deals and not so sweet deals, and people are going to like just be like outright bribing you guys to get things certain ways. I just really cannot wait to see these.
Do something to undermine the existing power structure. Let me check my traits for a second. Yes.
Yeah.
I will take your money and the fate.
So.
But yeah, I like revolutionary better than rebel personally.
Yeah, I could take that.
I like it too. Oh man, yeah, guys, the time we're gonna spend in court dealing with people, you guys trying to organize things and people trying to get their say in with court. Oh, it's gonna be good.
Listen, I want to point out that Mason apparently is going to jump in on this bribery shit, and their only job is to run the fucking military order of the country, which makes me really worried as to what they're being bribed to do. I was thinking maybe those people who guard Count Swan, maybe you could station them at away from his bedroom for tonight or something. I don't know. Here's a big pile of gold.
Let me check my traits for a second. Also, I feel like this is unorthodox and weird and unheard of. I'm sure the Count would approve.
No, okay. I mean, I can think of several examples being like when you're like forming your military and people being like, "Don't take my son," like give my son a pass. Here's some money, right? He doesn't have to fight. Like that kind of stuff's gonna happen, right?
Your son shall have the honor to die for the emperor.
I'm gonna say if they're gonna be bribing me, they better be offering.
Oh, they're not bribing you. They're bribing other people, like the other people.
Oh, wonderful!
On your subordinates.
One thing I did just realize is that if I ever need to find somebody in the church, I can now throw 9 dice at it with circles.
That's very
because you're the prophet. Everyone, of course, like there's so much social weight behind you not getting your way that people are forced to answer to you in a way, right? You essentially have a bully pulpit.
It's essentially like if the Pope was like, "Hey, can I have a meeting with you?" It's like, it doesn't matter what you think of the Pope. You're taking the meeting.
Exactly. You have to. Because otherwise, the rest of your year is going to be about why didn't you take the meeting with the Pope? And it's like, dude, my girlfriend was in town. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just busy.
I don't like the Pope. He fucked my sister. Because everything's false. What?
All right. Handsome as a trait?
I don't know. I don't see NPCs fawning over him, so while it may be true, I don't think it's a trait.
I like it as a trait, as like the court, everyone's like basically, I don't know that it necessarily needs to be that like people thought he was extremely handsome before the queen took him as her consort, but now it's like everyone's like, oh, that's the queen's former consort.
Are you saying
Oh.
Swan is the new black?
Yeah.
Basically, yes.
I could take that. In that case,
Yeah.
I'm voting yes. If like the best court gossip has reshuffled societal beauty standards to be what Count Swan is, I am in on this train.
I think yeah, I know. I think so. I think there's sort of like there is a sort of passion for that.
The Don
way.
Juan who broke the queen's heart.
And
Behold him in his masculine awe.
I like the idea that like as we're leaving, like we start noticing that like courtiers are like dressed like Count Swan, and
I am in. I am in with Belson on that.
I love it.
And then Guarded Heart. This is like, are we voting on something we want to see maybe more?
I think I would like to leave my vote up to what AP thinks, because I think this is completely on him.
I honestly don't know. I do know that I'd like to see more Swan. Like it was a thing in the first arc where Swan was like, shit, I don't have an heir anymore. Now I absolutely need to get married and have a kid. And I feel like now the pressure's been off and now it's back on again. I mean, if Guarded Heart's there, it's going to be like, but do I love her? Or do I love the queen? Dramatic.
Yeah,
like,
if that's not
you
what
need
you
to
want to
ask
do.
yourself if that's what you guys want to see. Is that drama? Or do you want to see Swan being like, all right, she's the princess of a very large community. Married.
The reason I initially suggested it was because I thought there was something charming to your interactions with Natala, where you were like, it's like basically like two sharks in a very small pond being like, I don't know if this is okay what I'm watching, or if it's very sweet or very deadly or both. But there was like some dynamic going on there where you were straddling the line between I want to exploit you for the perceived power you have, and I kind of like you, so I don't know how to deal with that.
I kind of do like this aspect of like Swan still not being quite over the queen, but being like, I desperately need an heir. Like I cannot be putzing around anymore with this. I like it.
I think I'm gonna say no on it.
Okay.
I think they could. I don't think we.
Weren't you the one who suggested it?
No, I was.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Well, actually, Eric suggested something that I then suggested a renaming scheme to. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you got Chosen One, Scheming Dreamer, Free Rebel, Free into Rebel, and Handsome.
Revolutionary.
Oh, not Rebel? Revolutionary?
We changed it to Revolutionary.
We decided Revolutionary, not Rebel.
Check. Okay.
Because I'm picky.
It's okay. Can be piggy when we trade.
Okay. Oh, now we nominate reputations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to suggest a 3-die nomination for Swan's Court.
I want to suggest a. I don't. So Eric, you be the arbiter of this. I feel like over the course of the last couple of I say 5 sessions, this treason thing was so prevalent and spoken so much of that I feel like there should exist a 1-die infamous reputation of like that's just called whispers of treason, something like that.
Rabble rouser.
Like something that is like
revolutionary.
Yeah. Well, this is
this
is kind of part of like listen, you don't upset the status quo without making a few enemies, right? So that this makes sense. Like this, I feel like this is so I would use it's an infamous reputation, right?
I think calling it revolutionary would be good. I think that's perfect.
I don't think that's what
liberal.
The most dire insult of medieval times, the liberal. Yeah. It has survived to this day.
Nominated reputations. Yeah, -1 die revolution. So +3 die Swan Court. -1 die revolutionary. I'm gonna say a 1 die reputation of Queen's
consort.
Consort. Yeah.
Former consort.
Right.
I think Do you have anything, any reputation as the chosen of Abadar yet?
Nope.
I guess I want to suggest Queen's Consort being changed to has the Queen's ear, because he's no longer the consort.
That'd be interesting because I was still planning to send her letters afterwards as
Yeah.
like status updates.
Yeah, that's a good one. Has the Queen's ear. I like that. What about
I think
now we can talk about a business reputation or affiliation with the church.
Yeah, I mean, I think an affiliation with the church for the business dealing makes sense, but I think like the whole thing with the prophet is that anytime like talking about the prophet in public, he's also talking about the chosen one. So I think if I have a 3D reputation, there should at least be some sort of reputation as chosen one of Abadar, right?
Yeah, I feel like there is validity to recognizing that Swan is now on people's lips.
Yeah,
great.
So I'd like to suggest a 3D reputation for chosen one of Abadar, but I could be persuaded that it would be 2D instead as well.
No, I think it's 3 die. Then I'm also saying a +2 die affiliation with the Church of Abadar. Your name is signed on that bill of that economic improvement bill.
It's true,
right? Like this is a big
Isn't
deal.
it the Swan Act?
I thought it was the Julius Act.
I renamed it at the last second on recommendation from a dream.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, like you are staked to this bill and its success.
Recommendation of a dream is like a really shitty operatic piece made in Swan's honor.
I also want to point out that though I did not suggest it this time, in the near future and some trait vote, I'm going to be suggesting upgrading your eminence to your radiance to indicate that Swan is the emperor.
Yeah. All right.
Let's wait until there's an empire, buddy.
Let's vote. Let's vote.
Yep.
3 die Swan's Court. Yes.
Yes.
Do people care? Yes. Let's say yes.
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
We can take it away and play if it stops mattering.
Yeah. -1 die infamous trait of revolutionary. Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's still +1 die.
What?
Right? You still add that die.
Sorry.
It's just that you add ob as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put infamous in parentheses.
There are only positive. Plus die reputations.
All press is good press. Yeah.
Yet.
All right. +1 die has the Queen's ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 die chosen one of Abadar.
Yes.
And this is going to let me call upon people from the church?
Yes.
And anytime the fact that you are the
need
chosen
to.
of Abadar, known to be the chosen of Abadar, would matter to whoever you are talking to, you might be able to
You
leverage
can-
this for
yeah.
advantage.
Well, I mean, I could circles people up using this as well.
Yes,
right?
you can. This gives extra dice to circles.
Good.
And
Now
you
I can be like, the Holy Knight comes riding to my aid in this time of need.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
You're better off letting me do that so I can throw 9 dice at it.
Yeah, but you're not always around. It's sometimes I'm dying from gold lug.
Also,
The Holy
Plus-
Knight comes
yeah.
riding with a curative kit for my lung disease.
Take an inhaler now. 2 die business affiliation with the Church of Abadar.
No. I think because we don't vote on affiliation, generally speaking. Affiliation.
Oh, just reputations?
You get affiliation in play by like paying for parties and shit like that.
Well, then
that's literally what I'm doing.
Yeah.
but he did do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What I'm saying is,
I'm gonna say no. I don't feel like that's a thing we justify.
I have that meeting on the books with the Rogarvians to raise my affiliation with them. So, yeah.
That's a good
I
example.
could do something like that with the church at some point.
If you
I did try to bribe them, but they didn't.
Well,
want
I felt like you guys actually arguing for this bill, and now that it's been passed and getting enacted means something.
so my suggestion would be that we tie the affiliation
Just with the
to
chosen one.
trait about being the chosen one, because it seems weird to me that a
Okay.
church would declare someone the chosen one and not have him be affiliated in any way with the church, right?
That depends on the dogma. But yeah. I can see that.
You see what, like, it's just like weird that the chosen one wouldn't be able to show up at a church and be like, "Hey, I'm the chosen one," and like people would be like, "Oh, yes, you are affiliated with the church." You know, like,
I get you, but it could also be like again. I say it could be based on dogma because I can imagine like a church system where it's like, "I am the chosen one." Great, you haven't done anything yet. It is welcome.
Yeah.
Bubblegum machine is in the corner, but yeah, I'll take it. The reason I say I didn't want to have it like voted on for affiliation is because there is a mechanic in the game for this, and I desperately want to see it used for this. And
I will do such then. It will happen.
So, I mean, what does everyone think about it being like a 1D that he can then buy up? Like,
I am A-okay with that.
I think that's fair.
Yep.
Cool.
Plus 1D affiliation.
And we can go from there. That sounds good.
And what's it called? Business with the church?
Church business. Yeah. Just
business.
put chosen one. Yeah.
1D affiliation with the Church of Abaddon.
Cool. Then we do Mason.
Oh, yeah.
Do you maybe want to take a break?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's 12:30. We totally should take a break. Haven't done that yet. Absolutely.
Ready.
All right. Cool.
Just
Well,
saying,
that's
my
good.
cat's freaking out right now.
I'm back.
Totally. All right. So we're gonna be back in 5 minutes, guys. Thanks for hanging out as we continue doing our trade voting. So we'll be back. See you on the other side.